Kerry, just read a report recently. The national debt, we all know that's a big issue, but the deficit spending has reached some pretty historic levels as far as projections and things of that nature. As you look forward, how it impacts the markets, how it impacts portfolios, talk a little bit about debt in general, both at the national level and other areas.
So I saw a projection that the national debt sometime in Q4 will hit $50 trillion. A billion is 1,000 millions. I don't know if I can even grasp what $1 trillion really is. But you're right, the two things that are happening is we're accumulating debt and we're spending more than we're taking in. Do you know what you call that in business?
Bankruptcy.
Bankruptcy. And so our country is going to have to make some tough decisions at some point, and that is even carried over now to the consumer side, because when COVID money was out, deposit accounts were high balances, those have gone. Credit card debt is rising.
Yeah.
So we are having, I think, a debt problem if we don't stop both consumer debt and then our country at the pace that we're taking.
Correct.
And nobody wants to make the difficult decision. And by the way, politically, both sides have done it.
Right.
I mean, everybody wants to point to the other, but nobody wants to cut spending on the things that are important. And one of my biggest concerns is I'm at the tail end of the baby boomers.
Yep.
And the birth rates and people that are working behind the baby boomers will not support financially Social Security and all of those programs.
Much smaller demographic.
As the baby boomers are retiring. So then what? It actually gets worse than what we're looking at today.
So what do you think the impact of that is on the market, and what are we doing short or mid or long term to position for that?
I always have a lot of faith in free markets in our country, and things that I weren't sure could correct. We're going to have to, one, all the politicians are going to have to stop doing what they're doing so that we keep our credit rating.
Yeah.
Because if our country can keep our credit rating, it doesn't need to get fixed immediately, I think the markets will respond pretty well. If we end up having another government shutdown, we end up having a downgrade, that will really affect the markets. So, but capitalism generally works.
Yeah.
It generally vets things out, and I try to look at it in not a 3-month or 6-month time frame, and maybe it's 10 years. So over that, I think it's fine. I think we could have some pretty good bumps in the interim.
And so being defensive, being cautious is kind of how we look at everything like that, but that's basically how we position portfolios.
So when you get into unusual market times, I've made some of the most money in my career when everybody else is concerned or diffused on what they're going to do. So in those market times, it's finding opportunities.
Yeah.
And so we can't be fearful, but we have to understand that we've got to be diversified and look at risk correctly.
Right.